everybody, this is Sanjeev Mehra from the Institute of Marine Engineers, and today we have with us Mr. Ashok Chitnis and Mr. Sanjeev Ogle. Over to you, Ogle sir.
Hello everyone, this is Sanjeev Ogle from
Hello.
Pune branch, and I would like to introduce today's guest and eminent person, Mr. A.R. Chitnis, Mr. Ashok Rajaram Chitnis, who was ex-chief surveyor of the Institute of the Indian Register of Shipping, and his experience speaks for itself, where he has been sailing from 1965 up to 1976. Thereafter joined the Indian Register of Shipping, and till retirement, that is in 2003, he retired as a chief surveyor of the Indian Register of Shipping. During this period, during his working in the Indian Register of Shipping, he was actively involved in development of in-house training programs in IRS, well as he was also involved into developing the ISM familiarization course for IMO and making several technical presentations to ship owners, training institutes, shipyards on various topics. Experience, fantastic. We cannot beat Mr. Chitnis with his experience. And thereafter, after his retirement in 2003, started a company called Torino, where we were, myself and Mr. Girish Kotwal, we were partnering Mr. Chitnis, who was really a joy to work with, really. I mean, never we had a dull moment when he was around. And thereafter, it was development of new products, and a person with totally sound, means exceptional sound technical knowledge. So there's nothing more that I can describe about Mr. Chitnis for the introduction. Mr. Chitnis, I would like to put forward a few queries and questions for this interview that has been conducted by the Institute of Marine Engineers. So good morning, Mr. Chitnis.
Good morning, or good afternoon rather.
Oh, good afternoon. As a very senior marine engineer and with such rich and varied experiences of sailing, thereafter joining IRS, how was the journey for you, sir?
Well, it was wonderful. Actually, how I landed up in shipping, I'll tell you first. I had never thought of shipping. I'm from a very remote village, like many others who joined DMAT. When I was in Pune that time to join College of Engineering in Pune, trying to join, I was standing in front of the Pune station and getting my shoes polished. One fellow comes and stands next to me on the other shoe polish stand, and he looks like Indian, but he was talking in a different accent. So I asked him, where are you from? He was from Mauritius, and he was a radio officer on a ship which was berthed in Mumbai. So I told him I am joining engineering here. I come for joining engineering college. So he told me that there are engineers on ships also. So I was very interested. Then we went for a cup of tea and he described me how is the life on ship and all. I had no idea what to do, except that my uncle was in Calcutta. I wrote to him. He immediately sent back the forms to me because it was time, the last few days were there. I filled up those forms, everything completed, sent, and that is how I joined DMAT.
We would like to know how was your journey reaching right up to the post of as a chief surveyor, sir?
Yeah, okay. I joined ships in 65 in Scindias and worked there for 11 years in different capacities like everybody does. Last 3 years were a chief engineer. To tell you frankly, I was first not a very good student. Student means I didn't learn much. when I came for second ticket, I failed once. I passed my seconds, and that time in India we were permanent employees. So they never used to relieve us on time. I served 36 months before I got down for my seconds. I did that. Then after that, but in India, one thing was there. I got to work on various types of ship. My first ship was the World War II up and down steam engine ship with several holes on the deck which were patched up with tapes and all. So that was a good experience. I served there. Then I was transferred to a steam turbine ship. That was a classic ship. Those were those French turbine ships. Then after that, after some time, I was transferred to a diesel ship. After I made some noise, I say I want to do my diesel ticket first, so please transfer me. So they transferred me on a diesel ship, and then I got to work on a lot of types of engines: steam propulsion engine, up and down, turbines, internal combustion engines, MAN, Docksport, Harland and Wolff. So I came to be known in India as the opposite piston engine. So that is because they were both opposite piston engine ships. I worked on them for a long time. In fact, I was sent as third engineer to bring Jalagirija, which was a second-hand ship with Harland and Wolff engines. So then I also got on that ship there was a generator which was steam turbine. So since I was a steam engine, I had some steam experience. I was expected to look after that generator, which I think I did reasonably well. Then after finishing my sea career, I joined in 1976 IRS. 1976 exactly, June 1976. Yes.
Sir, just would like to know, during your times, you going ashore, how was the time when you were going ashore, sir?
Oh, that time ships used to stay in port for minimum 10 days to 40 days. When we used to come to India, in Bombay, we used to be for about 10 days, 1 week to 10 days. Then in Calcutta, after the coastal voyage, we used to be in Calcutta for 1 month, 1.5 months, 2 months. You had to just guess how long you are going to stay. So that was very comfortable. But only thing, there was no signing off in between. 36 months continuously, I was on ships.
But going ashore during those days, did you have sufficient time to enjoy outside, or you had to go back on watches, sir?
No. We had sufficient time. See, I used to, as fifth engineer, I was normally on the night shift, no? So
Okay.
whole day I had there to roam around. Then afterwards, also, we were about 5 or 6 engineers on the ship. So there were enough engineers to look after everything. So the chief engineer used to allow us to go out. There was no problem.
You must have gone out a lot in the Calcutta. Some
I
experience
love
for
Calcutta city.
No.
And
Some
even-
experience of your going out and enjoyment, sir?
Yeah. See, we had more or less fixed routine. We used to go normally to Park Street. Park Street, there was one restaurant which was, which had a live musical show. Hindi songs they used to sing. And another restaurant opposite that in Hotel Park, where we used to have English music. And Usha Iyer that time, she used to sing there. We used to have a gala tent.
Good. So thereafter, after you left sailing, you joined IRS, sir. Can you
Yes.
continue from there?
Yes, I joined IRS in 1976, 11 years after joining ship. And I was put in as, of course, junior surveyor first. But I got to do a lot of surveys because first when I joined, IRS had just started growing up. Mostly I used to do what were called first entry surveys, take new ships in class, existing ships, which were also in class with another society. Because that time IRS had to have dual classification. Single classification was not possible. So that was the main work. And then also I got to do many types of surveys. ship hull and machinery surveys, of course. Then marine machinery, equipment and components and manufacturers, various manufacturers at Pune, at Kolhapur, at Mumbai, many places. Then hull and machinery damage surveys on behalf of underwriters. And then warranty surveys on offshore installations, right from the time that jacket was built in Mazgon Dock or Alka Cordon, then launched, loaded on a barge and taken to offshore and uprighted there and installed. All those surveys where you had to stay in offshore facility for as much as 10 days when this work was completed. That is my extent of experience in the IRS I got. Then also I did a lot of industrial surveys, commissioning, installation of small and large power generation plants, forgings, castings. So all this gave me a lot of opportunity to gain knowledge. And then we had a good person there, Mr. Taneja. He was my senior. He used to teach us a lot. He and Mr. H.S. Rao, who was the chief executive officer. With him, in the evening after we came back from the ship, myself and there was another surveyor there, junior surveyor, Urkayasta, we used to walk with him up to where he used to stay in, on the way that hill. So his car used to be driving in front of us. The driver used to drive. He used to walk and we had to walk with him. And throughout that distance, he used to give us lectures. But that was really good for us because I learned so much from him. He was in charge of Lloyd's Industrial Services before he joined IRS. He was called to IRS. So his experience also came in handy. Mr. Taneja's guidelines came in handy. And yes, Mr. Ogli.
Yeah, sir, I would like to know if you have to advise some youngsters who are watching this program and who want to join to become a surveyor, what would you advise them, sir?
Well, I won't discourage him. Definitely, I'll encourage him. What I will advise him is to be good at learning. Because when you come fresh from a ship as a marine engineer, surveyor is just, as a person who comes on ship and inspects things. But nothing more than that. What he looks for and all, you have to learn. So you should go there with not your head high because I've been chief engineer for 6 years. I did this on ship, that on ship. That's all actually comes nil when you join a classification society. You have to start learning from scratch. So you should be ready for that. And then, of course, when you start doing surveys, keep your eyes open. What you're looking at, what is it, what faults can come in this. Then you start reading. There are so many books available in a classification society's library. Take out those, like electrical surveys, for example. We were at least our time, we were weak in electricity. But I learned a lot about shipboard, ship electrical gear and all when I had to go to L&T and inspect switchboard. So that switchboard was made for some ships being built in Hindustan shipyard. I had to learn a lot, but there was material available. That is one advantage of joining a classification society, is that you have a lot to read. So unless you are a good reader and you have that capacity to understand things, you will not learn. And there are people who don't learn much even after 10, 15 years. They don't take that opportunity that is given to them. My advice will be to grab this opportunity with both hands. Don't think about that you are earning only so much, you are doing so much only. And I was earning so much on ship. Particularly people who work on foreign flag ships, they can earn a lot. In Indian ships, when I joined, my starting salary was only $495 per month. You can imagine. And then when I joined IRS, my IRS starting salary was less than what I was earning on the ship as chief engineer. But I joined it because I wanted to learn mainly. And then once I learned, I started enjoying the job. So I expect that newcomers also should do that.
Okay. Sir, after retiring from IRS, how did you think of being an entrepreneur at the age of 62, sir?
Not
Or
60,
61?
61.
61.
So
Yeah, you
you're
thought of
making me
becoming an
feel 1 year
entrepreneur
older.
at
Anyway,
61.
I'll tell you what happened. I was in, when I was in IRS, from 1996 till 2003, I was regularly attending IMO sessions of Maritime Safety Committee twice a year. And in between, sometimes some other session they used to send me for. So that gave me a lot of opportunity to see what goes on. And I realized there that the countries, advanced countries, they're making components, they're making new, and then introducing new regulations and getting them passed because they had majority, and also they could convince everybody that this is necessary. So I learned from that when I have opportunity, I will also start doing something. That was the beginning point. And then, fortunately, during the last 2-3 years in IMO, a lot of new regulations came. Bulk carrier regulations, BANWAS, then ISPS. So all this made me learn. I used to attend all those sessions. Even in the evening, there used to be some late evening sessions, where special team used to work on certain projects. I used to go and sit there, listen if I am not in the team. From that, I learned a lot. And then I said that let me go ashore, and then in India we'll start doing this. Fortunately, when I came ashore, I met two jokers, Mr. Ogle and Mr. Kotwal, and they were very nice persons indeed. I enjoyed working with them.
Sir, but comparing your tenure with IRS to being an entrepreneur, it is sitting in front of the desk and it is sitting in behind the desk. Sir. When you are in IRS, you are sitting behind the desk, and now you are sitting in front of the desk. Sir. I mean, how did you change your mindset? This is for the young generation to understand that at the age of 61 also, you can do something like this. That is something which is very encouraging, sir.
I think age is no barrier. Particularly now, most of us have good health, God bless. If you have good health, you are keen to do things, definitely. What drives you is your desire to do something. So I wanted to do something.
So if you want to, if you have to lecture some young entrepreneurs from the maritime industry where they normally come and keep saying, "Abhi mere ko kuch karna hai," and they don't know what to do, what would you ask them to do?
The first advice will be that they should be sure in their mind what they want to do. We can only tell what we have done, but that person should be aware of himself what he wants to do. And particularly if we want to get into manufacturing or in consultancy, like I did a lot of consultancy related to ISO, ISM. By the way, I was one of the first in IRS to be sent for ISO 9000 training because we established IRQS sometime in late in 1989 also. So we were first 12 of us were sent for a training, and then we started doing audits. And I got to do a lot of audits also. So from audits, I learned a lot about product and service quality. Because most of the audits were in companies like Kirloskar, Tata's and all, well-known companies, and their quality concepts were so clear. Product quality concept. So I learned from there. So if somebody wants to start, he has to be ready to learn all this. He must first figure out what he is going to do, with whom he is going to do. As you know, you remember, even before we started Torino, I had met you in our institute meetings, and that time only I told you that I am coming to Pune and we'll start something.
I remember that, sir. They were very well planned also, sir.
Yes, it was all well planned. Because
Sir,
I knew
one more
exactly
thing.
which product I want to make.
Yeah, one more thing that being a senior past president and being in the institute with a lot of your commitment to the institute, how do you see the IMEF functioning now compared to your time, sir? Also, you were president there during 2001 to 2003, I think so.
Yeah.
That time, what were your priorities for the institute, and what do you think should be done now by the institute to, and what should be the priorities now also?
See, what I have seen, when the institute started, I was in IRS, and it was IRS people who took the first steps to start an institute in India. Otherwise, we are all members of the London Institute, right? So, Mr. H.S. Rao was the first president of our institute. Mr. Taneja was the first secretary, and all this helped me because we used to interact so much. And then, uh, when I was president from 2001 to 2003, our focus was on that time the building was just coming up, not yet completed, but to some extent completed. So we had to concentrate ourselves on the completion of the building, which Mr. Simon, who followed me, he completed, got it completed. And we were all planning of how to use these facilities. We had to have something which will earn money for this thing, otherwise the institute won't last. Then bringing financial stability, another problem. Increasing the membership. This was always there. I think it should be there now also. And encouraging more and good technical contents in MER. MER was otherwise published as our magazine by just reproducing articles from the British magazine, the London magazine, and putting a new cover on that. And then the editor used to write one small page. That was about all. So slowly we started, but in my time, we just started encouraging people to write something, write, give it to us, we'll see. So that is how our focus was more on improving membership and improving the contents of MERI and making them more indigenous. Now, the next part of your question was, I think.
Yeah, what would you see? How would you see the institute, and what should be the priorities given now according to you?
See, I personally think that IME was always in good hands. Thank God, because our people who get elected, start working, they're really committed, So they should stay committed. But we are at a stage now, institute at a stage when we can look forward to spread our activities to a larger membership base in India and abroad. What has happened, unfortunately, I think, I don't know if it is still true, we have limited the number of branches for some reason, that apart from present branches, 8 or 9 branches, we will not have new branches, we will have chapters. Now, chapters, I find a big problem, which I had pointed out during my audit also, that nobody from the parent branch, one of the office bearers, once in a while at least they should visit that chapter. And then the chapters are, something is wrong with, a chapter is so entire state is chapter. I don't know whose idea was that. Unfortunately, it was wrong because how can a full state be chapter? That means that chapter is bigger than the branch, isn't it? To which it is attached. That is one thing, and chapter should be always limited, small activity groups, what we call macro or micro groups. Like now, for corona, we have micro quarantines and macro quarantines. So we should have that type of thing, and that should be encouraged. And then we can spread in India and abroad. And for that, the office bearers of branches to which these chapters will be attached, they should be willing to go there and, go once a year, go for a drink, sit down with that person there. Like Gujarat chapter, I know who is there, Doshi, isn't it? And he, poor fellow, is alone there sitting. He comes for meetings, most of the meetings when he's invited. But the main thing is that somebody from the parent branch must visit this chapter. That is one thing I find missing, lacking, Then, since now we have online meetings and webinars, it's a good means of communication. It should not be very difficult to do what I am suggesting. I think that at the present, the branch office bearers, even if they cannot go, at least talk to that poor fellow. Have Zoom meeting in once in a while. Further, we should visit the maritime training institutes where they are, like Pune, more often. We are doing, I know, but I feel it is still inadequate. Like I had suggested a long time back that we should take these cadets on our committee,
Yes, sir. I
executive
remember.
committee of the branch. In fact, we should tell them to form an executive committee of 5-6 colleges together. Every year they should, or every 2 years, they should have an election of the fourth last year boys and establish a subcommittee. And that subcommittee should come out with ideas with whom we can interact. I think this has to be started immediately. That will increase the interest in our activities. Otherwise, what is happening now, of what I can see, the institute cadets, they're joining just because I think more or less forced to join, that you must, which is not correct. They should feel like, yes, I am doing something for this institute. That is, these are 2-3 things we should pay more attention to. And now, after this close down, lockups and all are over, I don't know what is going to happen. But we should get used to the idea that this is how we are going to operate most of the time now onward, with remote contact. And it will be much better in these circumstances.
Okay, sir. Last question. Name something that was some incidents which is very interesting during your sailing time and during your business times as a business entrepreneur. Some interesting.
Sailing
I
time,
know what your interesting, sir. I know what your interests are, but something.
yeah, don't worry. I am now 77. I have changed my interest. Okay, I'll tell you what. On the ship, what I remember is a rather scary incident. I was on a ship called Jalavihar. This was one of those jumboized ships. Jumboized means they had inserted one additional piece of hull in after cutting the ship into two and lengthened that ship for carrying more cargo, of course. But due to that, what happened? The engine had lot of critical speeds, and also it was doing only about 8 knots with great effort. So, and we sent from UK to USA on a voyage across the Atlantic. And one fine day, of course, in Atlantic, anything can happen anytime, any sea for that matter. We had a very bad weather. And we almost felt that we are going to now sink, go down. And then at that time, on that ship, there was previous second engineer who had put water in the Luval tank. You can imagine what happened. We are using that water mixed Luval, and normal that started giving problems, and the engine stopped. And in that weather, when the engine stopped, but somehow, luckily, I managed to. I was second engineer at that time. I was on watch. I managed to stop the taking oil from there and started taking oil where there was fresh oil. I told Sarang and all to bring drums from top and start pouring oil in the cranker. So that is how we started the engine again. Thank goodness it started, and we are in really bad state. That was one very scary incident because we almost went down. What happens if a ship takes waves on the side?
Yeah.
That is what happened to that ship. That is one incident. There are many other incidents, very interesting, but this is not the platform I should share those.
Okay, so we are always going to miss you as a active member of the IMEI because you have become pretty passive, sir.
Huh?
Yeah. I said you have become very passive nowadays.
Is it?
So
How do you know?
because we want you to be more active again in the activities of the institute.
I'm quite active. The thing is that in this last 5 months, but I have been always meeting people. I had arranged a cricket match with Tolanis.
Oh yes.
You didn't come for that match, but we had a good
I
match.
remember.
And I had arranged the match with the Tolani staff, which normally doesn't participate in these matches. They never get a chance to participate. So I arranged a match which we had with the staff of the grade 4.
Also at Torino, we are always missing your presence because those one-liners are something we always miss from you. Whenever we are in doubt, we always call you, but we miss you, sir.
Not for the one-liners.
No, no, no. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you
Thanks
very
a
much
lot.
for your time. And
Thank you.
thank you, Sanjeev.
We had a
for
good and frank
inviting.
talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chitnis sir. Thank you, Ogle sir. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep.